Hello and welcome, Draft League fans. Today we have a little bit of a different kind of video. I have Who with me. I know, get all your Who jokes out. Go in the comments right now, get them out of your system. But today I'm joined by Who to go over some fat teams. This guy basically reinvented the wheel when it comes to fat teams in SV. Nobody thought it was viable, but you've managed to make it work. How's it going?
Who? Who are you talking about?
Exactly, yep. This
Yeah,
guy.
anyways, hi guys. Pleasure to be on here. Yeah, today we're gonna go over some of the fatter teams, the fatter builds, and mostly in DPL and just draft and the draft the meta right as now as you look at like the especially like the DPL records for top mons, you see like the top two are like Aloe and Torren T, like two notoriously like very fat Pokemon. So we're gonna go over how those guys are successful, how just like the meta has shifted to like where more bulky teams can succeed. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. So
Yeah. Also, we can throw Petron in there in terms of like
oh yeah, for
very
sure.
fat mons that are doing quite well in SV right now. So, I wanted to look at some of these drafts that, we've seen this season. And obviously the number one team performing wise, 8-2 record, is this Torren Tinglu kind of balance thing. I mean, we've seen Torren Tinglu for many years at this point. It's like a combination as old as Draft League SV. Like, I'm pretty sure we saw this combination in the first season of DPL with SV, of course, which was DPL 7. But yeah. What makes this team...
Yeah, you saw in seasonal too a lot.
Yeah. What makes this team, or this combination, right, so, like, timeless, right? So you have, like, the hazard setter, Tinglu, and you have Torren, which can knock off boots. It's, like, pretty simple in combination. They also resist each other's kind of weaknesses quite a lot. Like, rock weakness, rock resist. What else, though? Because, like, Tinglu, people have started a lot more commonly to pair it with spin blockers, and Rotom is just that guy right now. If you look at Rotom against all of the common spinners or removals, it just spin blocks all of them. I think it's probably the best spin blocker in the tier, even like disregarding its price, which is on the lower side. It's a cheap mon, so it fits really well on these kinds of structures.
Yeah.
So,
But outside of Rotom, you do see like some teams with like Hydrapple. They get tear to Hydrapple, and a lot of them like when they match up into Tusk or Iron Treads, they get just tear it into like a Ghost type. And you see that a lot in this season in DPL and even World Cup, where your dunk had a Hydrapple team, and like every single time he would just pull Iron Treads, he would just go tear Ghost and just stack hazards with Gliscor, and like the opponent could do nothing about it.
yeah, it's like pretty oppressive sometimes when you just don't have that removal option. Yeah, hazards can be very much a pain. The rest of this team, though, I think what really makes this team stand out outside of like any other Torren Tinglu kind of thing is like the Jirachi Dragonite. I think these two add so much nuance to the team where they're so flexible and their resists are so important. E-speed is invaluable on any team in SV right now, but also they both get Encore. Like, we've seen a lot of offensive Jirachi out of this team this season. Like these two,
Like Scarf.
yeah, they're so flexible. Tentacruel, he's just there. He's collecting the paycheck.
Yeah, Tentacle. He's just there to be the poison type.
Yeah.
Then maybe like once or twice.
Yeah, I mean the team
But
isn't
yeah,
even
just
that weak to T-spikes. It's just Tinglu that gets hit by
yeah,
it, really. But still.
yeah, exactly. Like you just get the hazards of Tinglu, knock off some boots. But
Mhm.
eventually, like the game state will be at a point where Dragonite can just click SD or Dragonance and just pretty much win on the spot.
Yeah, I mean Dragonite is a very strong win condition, so it gives the team that, which otherwise it would be kind of lacking outside of maybe like a nasty plot Torn. But yeah, Dragonite's D-Knight, very much a win condition for this team. Is there like Terrakion?
Terrakion?
I don't think they brought Terrakion very often this season. I feel like its
They
usage
did.
was
They
very
brought it
low.
like once, I think.
Well, yeah, but not a
They brought
lot,
like
right?
once.
They played 10
Yeah,
games with this team. I don't
yeah, they
remember
brought
seeing a
Bramble
lot.
more times.
Yeah, for sure. Like Grand Bull there to shore up the Weavile weakness, because low kick Weavile obliterates Terrakion and kind of just smokes the rest of the team as well. So Grand Bull there.
Meowscarada too,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So
For
yeah,
those like fast dark types that can be so threatening to these kinds of teams over the course of a long game, Grand Bull kind of helps out that a little bit.
yeah, sure.
So that's one example of a fat team that has been successful. Another example, we could look at the ZFG SD1. This is the team that you used for the entire season. And I know
Yep.
you think it's not perfect, but it did have a pretty strong performance. Obviously a better first half than the
Yeah.
second half, but what do you think makes this team so annoying to face?
Like the biggest thing is like making progress like with like the AV Aloe or like a Aloe into a Mandibuzz, into a Petra, into Treads. Like you just have all these defensive options that can just pivot into stuff and then just momentum out immediately into a breaker like Meowscarada, who's always going to get a permanent chip with like U-turn knockoff, triple axle, or you have like you saw Terra Keldeo a lot in like the latter half of the season, who could just click like Terra Sex Water or Terra Water Surf. Even Hydrapple, sometimes you see like nasty plot sets, which I did bring, and sometimes that would just like be able to overwhelm the opponents. Also be able to take basically anything. So like basically just like the region core, having like all these options to switch into stuff and then immediately get into your offense is what I think made it the most successful. Towards like the end of the season, like playoffs, mostly playoffs. Like you used to see some like the weaknesses like show up, like because when you're trying to defend against like your opponents, they could obviously just bring like some bullshit. They could obviously like bring a lot of like setup stuff, like substitutes or
Yeah.
it's like nasty plus sets, like bulky sets like that, which this team doesn't super deal with super well. Your only real options are like Whirlwind on Mandibuzz and Dragon Tail on the Hydrapple. So and because like if you run like something like even like Agility like Iron Moth or like Agility Iron Crown, like you can now see your Meowscarada too. So I think it does like lack that like one like that encore. Because on my World Cup team, you do see like I have like the Ogerpon, and Ogerpon can just always get up like a fast encore like pretty much no matter what if it needs to. And so that was actually like brought like quite a lot despite like me not really tearing the Ogerpon. So the team was like missing like that one thing I think that like really needed to be like a S tier defensive team. But I think the team worked in that it can just get in like the big threats like Meowscarada and Keldeo in super quick and just get good progress like that. So
Yeah, well, watching the whole season, it felt like definitely the strength was having that double regen, denying a lot of value from your opponents. Then also, it's pretty easy for this team to position Meowscarada and Keldeo on the field repeatedly.
yeah,
Which,
exactly.
yeah, over the course of a longer
And
game, it's really hard to defend against.
yeah,
So
and you
hard.
have like the double removal option, Treads, Man,
Yep.
Buzz.
hmm So Hazard's not as big of a deal as maybe versus some other teams. That being said, you do have to spend a lot of time trying to prevent the hazards from being up.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a bit difficult when your spinner is your sole spinner is Treads, who does get wore down quite quickly throughout the game.
Yeah.
And passing wish is pretty difficult in this metagame, like because at the time you could pass a wish, you could just flip turn out into like abandon Meowscarada or a Specs Keldeo.
Yeah, the
So
opportunity cost is quite high
yeah.
there. So yeah. Alright, so that's kind of like going over this team. And we want to look at some of them that are not so successful and think of why is that. And obviously the biggest example down here is the Balio World Tour SV4. Another Torren Tinglu, just like the number one team, but how they completed it is completely different. And kind of curious, like, what do you think about this team in particular?
The biggest downgrade I know was like the Gouging Fire for Dragon Knight. Like Gouging Fire, like Dragon Knight is, I think, is just way better of a cleaner because it gets extreme speed. It can run like encore sets even too. It's just like
Yeah.
such like a big downgrade, I think.
I don't know, Gouging Fire,
And
like,
also your spin blocker is Bramble Cast.
oh yeah, that's definitely not very good.
Yeah, that's the other big one.
I feel
Yeah,
like
you replaced the Dragonite for Gouge and the Rotom for Bramble.
yeah,
Just is not. Yeah.
the gouging fire is like, I think in a vacuum a little bit scarier to prep against versus Dragonite, but it's also very linear in what it can do. Like, you know the set that's gonna
Exactly.
come most of the time.
Yeah.
Whereas Dragonite, you can be surprised every week. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And just like the spin block option isn't as
I
good.
mean, you
Like
could
Realm
think about
Gas
it
is
like
like
this, right? Rotom spin blocks against all of the good spinners. Brambleghast just doesn't versus any of them. It's like maybe, just maybe, you can force Ice Spinner on them or like coverage moves, but you're not blocking the spin. You're gonna have to sack it almost immediately if you want to keep your hazards up, which
yeah,
is what we saw in the games. Watching a lot of these games, Brambleghast was basically just cannon fodder into, every time the treads comes in, Brambleghast comes in to
yeah.
take an Ice Spinner and
Just
gets to a
not
KO'd,
ice
yeah.
spinnered. Yeah.
And it's like,
You're taking
okay, dude.
spikes too, unlike Rotom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They run boots, you're just killed with knockoff. Don't run boots, well, you're taking hazards. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's Ice Spinner, so
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. I
most of
think
the
just a lot of tools are
times,
just downgraded from PTE SV1.
yeah. Most of the times we see Brambleghast actually do anything is off the back of Tailwind, which is like definitely
Yeah,
not the role
true.
that it's filling on this team. Alright, and then one other team that was like not as successful but still very balancy is our ZFG SV3. Now this one, it's also very fat with a Tinglu, with a breaker being Raging Bolt, and then our like fast Revenge Killer guy is the Weavile. Now the main problem that we had with this team is Weavile is just, I mean, it's good, but it's not enough to carry the entire like fast
Yeah,
offense by itself. So having to rely
yeah.
on it to be the progress maker in a lot of matchups, it just wasn't able to be that guy for us. Some of it was a little bit misplayed, I think, in the game, partially me included. Right, I played this game or this team for like a week, I think, and I used Weavile as my main progress maker, and I thudded a triple axle into a helmet Garchomp with Endure, and like that's tough, right? Because like this team, if Weavile goes down, it's really hard to make progress, right? Raging Bolt is your only
Mm,
offensive guy, and a lot of times it's pretty easy to just tech on an Assault Vest and then just trade versus the Raging Bolt, and it doesn't have, recovery, so any trades are usually
exactly.
permanent.
Yeah, and also the fact that your only removal on this team is the Corviknight. So
Mhm.
if you don't want to slot defog and defog away your own rocks like every single game, your Weavile is gonna be forced to run like boots every single game. That means Rocky Helmet is basically coming every single game. You can't really run pads because then you're taking hazards.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, that's like the big thing. Also, like your Wishpasser into you have the Jirachi, but like, this was like an Aloe. I think it'd be like way better because you could Wishpasser into like Tinglu, Raging Bolt. Both of them are like bulky enough to take advantage of it.
I'm pretty sure we
But
wanted
Jirachi
an
doesn't
Aloe
typically
on
run
this
that set.
team when we were drafting. I'm pretty sure we wanted an Aloe, and we just weren't able to get it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Let's see, SV3, who drafted the Aloe? I'm looking at it. Where's the Aloe? I'm trying to remember what round we got sniped on. I'm just looking at SV3. SV3. I don't know. I might be blind. But
Uh, was it even drafted?
maybe we didn't get sniped on it. I think Aloe looks good
Oh,
here.
you guys just
But
trolled. Yeah, you guys
yeah,
just trolled. Okay.
we're just ass. Unfortunate.
Yeah, literally undrafted.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Nice. I just lied. What are you gonna do about it though? Uh Anyways, we have a few replays to look at if you wanted to more so look at that. Or do you want to first go over what do you think actually makes a good bulky team? That's probably better to do first, right?
Okay, yeah, I could talk about that a bit. But like purely like the best defense or best defense or like because like the best defense is you have to have like so you have to first like have like pivots I think, but you also need to have like a good breaker because you definitely like want something to make progress with. Otherwise, you're going to be there for like a million turns, and then you might not necessarily have like the resources to
Yeah.
outlast of like hazards and stuff. So you definitely want like a strong breaker, I think. So that's why I lean towards Meowscarada as like a good as like that good like one breaker mon, or like it doesn't have to be Meow, but it could be like, because I think even Darkrai works too in theory, because it just like actually like outspeeds like everything except for like itself. Like you just want like something that can just outspeed, not be forced to be like scarf locked.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vacuum, like Darkrai, Meowscarada is pretty good. Torn works as well, and that it can function as both like a pivot and like a bulky like AV guy or like whatever. But generally, I do like using Meow because it can you can have like this momentum chain into Aloe to Meow into Hydrapple or Pecharunt. So you have this clean switch between your offense and defense mode. Outside of like your offense, though, I do think it is nice to have like more than one option if you can. Sometimes my team usually they rely only on Meowscarada, which sometimes might backfire. But I do think it's nice to have like that other option, like a Specs Kelio, like we have on the ZFG one, who just come in and click a Terra Surf if the matchup allows it. And outside like those two offense guys, usually I use the other 6 slots just fill up all like the defensive roles I need, like a spin, in which case it's going to be Iron Treads, a spin blocker, which I do think is really important. So usually look at like Pecharunt or like Sinistcha, or like if you want like Terra Ghost like a Hydrapple or something, that also works.
Yeah.
Usually on my teams, I also like to have a Defogger, because you see a lot nowadays, like these teams that love to spam Rotom, they love to spam Pecharunt. So just having like a defog option, if you don't want to go like the hazards for spam and you think you're gonna lose that, is pretty nice. So I do think Manabuzz is, you definitely do see it like on like the rise like nowadays, and you see Corviknight too on the rise. So Manabuzz, Corviknight, you see those guys drafted like way more now.
Yeah, the defoggers being really valuable in this current meta.
Yeah, especially with screens offense too. Like you see a lot of teams running like stabilized screens. You see like in World Cup, Theodore Manny, my teammate, he brought like screens like literally like every single week with Sableye, and he just fucking smoked. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and there are like discussions of it like being like banned potentially in the future, which is funny. But yeah, I definitely do think defog is like very, very valuable on these type of teams. So I definitely do think defog is warranted.
Right. And then like defensive,
you want hazards too.
yeah, hazards of course.
You
But
definitely want
like
hazards
defensive roles, what do you mean by defensive roles? Like, are you looking for certain resists? Are you drafting with certain offensive threats in mind that you really need to cover? Like, what's the thought process there?
Yeah, like if you see your team is going to lose to like an Ogerpon Wellspring, like you probably want to have something for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it's gonna be like Hydrapple or like even like Pecharunt to a certain extent, not really, but
Yeah, Pecharunt is like
mostly
it can blanket check a lot of physical offense.
yeah.
Yeah.
I look at a lot of Pokemon that can just like blanket check. So like AV Aloe, for example, you can basically blanket check like
Anything really. Like,
yeah, like a lot of
Yeah.
special attackers. Like you come in on Torren, get a free flip turn to Meowscarada, and then from there, like once I get like my blanket checks out of the way, I look at like more nuanced stuff, like a substitute. Like if this Torren runs like substitute, do I just auto lose? So I look for ways to try to counteract that. So in this case, it might be like a Encore Pokemon. Like usually I will draft like Ogerpon. Or like I could try to depend on like a Dragon Tail from like a Hydrapple. But usually I prefer Encore as my means of stopping setup.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's pretty easy to stop setup with an Encore if you have like a slow flip turn into it. It makes all the prediction
Yeah, exactly.
not necessary. You just have a guaranteed
exactly.
click.
Yeah.
All right. I think that pretty much covers that. We can take a look at some of these replays. Right. So first
Oh,
up
this is
with this game,
K-Crick.
yeah, K-Crick
Yeah, this is
versus.
K-Crick top 16 in the seasonal right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go in the perspective of K-Crick. Now, what is the goal of this team in this matchup? You want to set hazards. You see, there's like Scizor's the removal,
Tinglu,
which isn't good.
Yeah.
So probably
And
we're
you
gonna
can see there's
see.
no flying resist. So
Yeah, there is a offense or the opposing ghost type to block your spin fortress, so I'm probably looking at a boot spam team, especially against a Samurott. I would be very surprised if stuff like the Fortress, even the Tinglu might even be boots here, but like definitely at least boots Petrant, boots Fortress in my eyes, and boots Dragonite. Maybe boots Torren? I don't know. You could see 4, maybe even 5 boots on this team. Hard to say. What are the defensive things?
Like specs, you want like that one breaker, like I said, and as you can see, our team did no flying resist, so just getting in your Torren, being able to click specs, Terra Blast or Bleak Wind's pretty good here, and because you have your regenerated ability, you don't really care about rocks, so you just press switch in like as many times as you want, basically. So
in this matchup, right, usually on this team, you're going to see Iron Valiant as the breaker of choice, but here, there's a G-King, there's a Scizor. Iron Valiant may be a little bit of a worse matchup, so Torren has to take on that role, which is fine because there's no flying resist, right? We do see Terra Flying Torren. Yeah, Fortress leads off into the Samurott.
And the opponent has the Terra Electric on Enamorous, which isn't actually really a Torren switch in, but you can switch in like once or twice. But
yeah. It's at least a resist, right? And we see mixed Samurott able to go for a Hydro Pump, knock out the Fortress, but in the process, only gets 1 spike up. Okay, a crit Sucker Punch from Life Orb. It'll do a lot, but it is regenerable.
Yeah, exactly. So like just like because he had regenerate ability, like taking a big hit like that isn't like the end of the world.
I just realized my dimensions are a little bit off. Let me fix that. You can still see what's going on, but it just doesn't look as nice. There we go. So I missed the turn here. So Valiant in on the rocks from Mamoswine, and then we Shadow Ball immediately into the Slowking, but looks to be a roll, and it looks like he's willing to take that roll. Shadow Balls again into the Scizor, but now Petrant comes in, and of course it's boots. Does get knocked off though. This is a nice combination, right? Knockoff plus hazards, which is like one of the ways that you can combat against some of these fatter teams. So nice prep from his opponent. Now this Poltergeist, able to do a lot to this G-King, but Citrus Berry means it's going to wall the Poltergeist in the future. So really nice prep there. Shout out to J. Ricky, right? Now just
shout out to J. Ricky,
a really easy
Warriors.
Yep, pivot back to G-King. And Tinglu is not boots, crucially, so it is going to take a little bit of chip here on the switch in. No lefties either, so I'm thinking either weakness policy, which reveals not to be the case, or it's going to be rest Chestoberry. Regardless, is going to go down to a second Icicle Spear. And now Iron Valiant comes in. And the G-King's at full, so just go to it. But Shadow Ball, nice prediction. And there's a drop, so the roll is not a roll anymore. And just stays in. Wow, I did not expect to stay in there. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from the opponent. He definitely needed that guy. Anyways, now Dragonite able to just come in on the Scizor for free. Yeah, with that multi-scale, able to take any hit. Petra in on the Enamorous, predicting a Moonblast. See a play rough, okay. I mean, that means it's probably going to be... I was going to say Superpower, but we see an Earth Power, so maybe it's a mixed Enam.
As a mix.
But the problem with mixed Enam is it doesn't really have a lot of special attack EVs. So this patch takes 34. Yeah, that's really sad damage. Alright, finish to in, but Dragonite able to just come in on this. Even a Stun Spore can be annoying, but okay, a Hex is going to be enough to break through this Dragonite actually. But the Hurricane does break through. We're actually going to sack Valiant here. Okay, values the Dragonite in the back for the E-Speed. Not sure I agree with that entirely, but regardless, Enam's going to come in on a Specs Terra Blast and just get to it KO'd. Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Now Mamo in. Here's the Dragonite sack. Okay, it gets in on the Earthquake, so it gets E-Speed chip. Not going to be too impactful, I don't think. Now Petra comes in. Surely this is faster.
Clean up the end game here.
Yeah, foul play.
Nope. Yeah, foul play. Prize in the bag. Classic. Yeah, over.
Yeah. So, I mean, this game, we saw Torren and the Valiant very much functioning as the breakers.
Yeah.
And the rest of the team just buying time to find positions to get them in safely. Here with the Toxic, I mean, Specs Torren is obviously going to be able to
Yeah, I
one-shot
mean, this
the
game's
Sage.
basically over anyways. Yeah.
And so, I mean, his opponent played pretty well in terms of like setting up hazards, getting the surprise mixed Hydro Pump on the Fortress for a KO like turn 2, really important, and then knocking off the Petra was really good progress, but unfortunately wasn't quite enough in this game. Alright, now, you had to put this on the list, didn't you?
Yeah, so we have King Lazy 5, my captain, versus Blitz.
Yes.
Oh, this was a Torren masterclass, you have to admit.
It was, I'm not gonna lie. So in this game, it's not really balanced, right? This is more of an offensive team versus an offensive team. But just to show like the power of Regenerator. And this is going to be a Terra Dark Taunt Tornadus. Because we're going to see knock off on my T-Wave and it's going to use up a Lumberry. So now I'm like, okay, I can just T-Wave again, but he taunts. And now this Torren, which my Rotom should be able to beat, is kind of just favorably HP trading. I go Great Tusk here because, you know, Terra Steel AV. Ice Spinner on the predicted Lando, but no, it's max defense Conch Elder. Then doubles the Torren. Nope. And here, we're just gonna have to watch me get outplayed for like 20 turns in a row.
Every single play wrong.
Yeah, you just had to put this in here, didn't you? Oh look, I got that one right. Look at that. But it doesn't matter because I'm gonna Volt on the Lando again.
He's gonna regen it back anyway.
Dude, this is such a bad play for him. I don't know. Like, it's working, but it shouldn't, I think. I don't know, my fault, I guess. My fault. And then taunts me on my pains, or my Thunder Wave. Cool, dude. So basically...
He's going 100 point? Nope, bolsters again.
Yeah, this Torren... Yeah, shut up, dude. Dude, he hacked me. I would have won. And then, of course, I spit into the Conch again like a dumbass. Yeah, why did you put this on here again? This isn't even a fat team. You just wanted to bully me. Yeah, you just wanted to bully me. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, actually, 0.
Oh my god, again? This guy's stupid. Yeah, and I try to sack my Rotom.
0 out of 17 is crazy.
Shut up. Shout out to my Rotom, really did a lot there. And Torren's at full. Like, and he just stays in because he like, you don't have CC. Which is true, I don't have CC. Like, but frick you.
He just knows.
Yeah. Look, I gotta play right. Awesome. But now I'm forced up by Mach. Awesome. And doubles to Torren to farm regen. Oh my god. How? But here, he doesn't taunt. I call the non-taunt. Yup. And here, I call the non-taunt again. Yeah, we're so back.
Out of 20 turns.
Yeah, we're so back. And now Healing Wish in the air. It's taunt, Conch Elder.
Yeah, we're so back.
And Dragonite comes in, reflect up, get the Dragon Dance. This is my time. Yeah, like, kill me, dude. Thanks for putting this in here, bro. And you know what's crazy? He almost loses this as well. Iron Crown comes in, I'm weakness policy, but he has taunt for sure. I just banking on a choke at this point.
Taunt, actually.
Like, if you knock out there, you just lose, but obviously he's not going to fall for that. Torren comes in, I do live a knock, so if he knocks here, I win the game again.
No, it doesn't.
No, he just U-turns. Into Lando range, guaranteed EQ. And Tachyon actually does like no damage, so it's AV Spadef Lando, shout out. But you know what's crazy? I still almost win this. Like,
yeah, that's true.
This is ridiculous. Okay, booster speed.
If it wasn't blue, you just won.
Yeah. Like, my Darkrai trades for the crown here, which is important for my Great Tusk. By the way, the Healing Wish is still in the air. I know you guys forgot about that. I know every single one of you watching forgot about the Healing Wish in the air. And my Tusk?
Really important, man.
I'm about to come in. Okay, Torren comes in.
Is this a sweep? Is this a reverse sweep?
Back up to full. And I have Heavy Slam.
Is this a reverse sweep?
Dude, Bleakwind does 20.
Is he gonna win?
And I'm gonna get 2 rapid spins here. So I'm outspeeding the Meowscarada. Okay. I have Ice Spinner for Lando.
Is he gonna float off? Is he gonna float off?
Alright, Lando comes in to get the Intim.
No, is there a balloon? Does this kill? Does this kill? Nope.
Yeah, we're not there yet. And he's literally max def. Like, max Fizz def. Oh my god. get a
I'm
job.
so impressed that you still managed to almost pull it back.
Dude. It was annoying too, but like my Dragonite should have won that. It's such a good Dragonite matchup, and it got crit
But
immediately.
that just shows the power of Regen. Like
yeah.
came in,
Thanks for including
how
that
many
one,
moves
bro.
does this Torren click? How many moves does this guy click? Like
3,
1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
5. Jesus Christ, 7 U-turns. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just kill me. Thanks for including that on the list. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Now it's you, and you know.
Oh, this is a classic for sure. This is a new classic for sure. Yeah. So we have two very similar teams here.
Yeah, it gets tricked turn one like a dumbass.
Yep. Fries in the bag. Yep.
And now your only remover, right? Your only reliable remover is now Scarf.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
tricked now. Yep.
So you should be playing
Nasty
with rocks on your
you.
side the whole game, right? Surely.
Yeah, surely.
Oh
Dragon
my
Tail,
god.
yeah. Sweep. We're not going to get slipped by Chi-Yu.
Right.
Nice.
Crucially, this is Assault Vest Hydrapple, able to stop the Chi-Yu in its tracks there, even with Nasty Plot Fire Blast. Not enough to break through, and the regen is going to be able to bring that back. Now, Swords Dance Iron Hands, another threat to like a Fat Style. Obviously, Meowscarada not able to like 1v1 this. So we go to Pecharunt, and it's Lumberry, of course, getting out prepped. This guy.
I literally knew it'd be Lumberry. I literally knew.
yeah, tell it to the judge.
I literally knew.
The widowy.
Literally though.
Yeah.
Yeah, live the EQ, expertly EV, and then go for Destiny Bond.
Oh my god, he's too good actually.
Yep. Yeah, how? Human? How?
Dragalge comes in. Free U-turn, of course.
We're clicking here. U-turn, is it U-turn? Yep.
Dude, I went over this game, was it yesterday on my stream for Aloe? Just watching some Aloe replays.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, this is an Aloe mirror, so we watched through it, which I'm not going to pause very much in this game for that reason. But, yeah, the power of regen. Now rocks go up, and you should be playing with the rocks up for the entire game now.
All
because
good.
this
I have iron treads. All good.
It's not spin though.
No, it's choice band. I'm pretty sure it's choice band.
yeah. You wouldn't be able to tell from this game because it clicked Volt Switch 7 times. Like,
I actually clicked 0 physical moves.
I know, you're so stupid for that. Oh my god. Now rocks up and a helmet.
U-turn.
Yeah. U-turns into helmet treads with rocks up. Yeah. What an idiot.
Alright, what's going to click here?
Volt switch. Yep. 12.
Is it flip turn? Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, this game, if we wanted to relate it back to the point of the video, it's a lot of regen. It's a lot of switch moves. It's a lot of just finding positions to get Meowscarada in. And, you know, maybe we can get progress going. That being said, we do keep U-turning into a helmet mon, so yeah, but the theory's there, right? Now Chi-Yu comes in, back to Hydrapple. Another Nasty Plot, but over the course of the game, we have regen enough where we can live that barely. Right, this time we do Terra Grass for some reason. Hopefully that doesn't bite us in the future, right? Oh my god.
Alright, what's he going to click here? Is it U-turn?
No, he sacks the rocker, dude.
What? He low kicked. What?
First off, why were we ever able to defog without him just going hard treads every time? Second off, why did we sack the rocker? This guy is, oh my god, getting our way with a murder at the moment. And now a toxic on the Aloe. Oh my god.
Yeah, the Scarf Man was actually forcing
free regen. Oh my god. Chi-Yu comes in. Yo. By the way, in this position, if anyone's ever playing against who, just Nasty Plot there. Like, oh my god, dude. You know he's not going to sack the Hydrapple. It's not a play that even registers in his mind. He will never sack anything if he doesn't have to. And here, yep, click Nasty Plot.
Is he going Nasty Plot? Is he going Nasty Plot?
Please, I beg of you. This guy is getting played like a book.
And then Man Buzz.
That analogy doesn't even work. But
Scarf.
Yeah. And now Roos up on the switch out, just mind controls his opponent to switch out, I guess.
I get it. He's for your U-turns. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy pin to Aloe. What's getting clicked here? Is it flip turn?
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh!
And the ground type's dead, so choice banded Volt Switch 4.
Volt Switch, yeah.
Back to Aloe, yeah. On Hydro Pump, yeah. What did he think was gonna happen? And then lucky players.
Flip turn. Double switch. Is it EQ this time? Is it EQ?
No, of
Oh, I
course.
clicked EQ. I clicked EQ. No, it's double switch.
No. He really thought, huh? He really thought he could get you there.
Is it U-turn? Is it U-turn? Yep.
Of course it is. I mean, there's a Uxie in front of you. That's weak to U-turn. Usually you don't even need that much encouragement. Yeah, click a Volt Switch here. Yep. Back to Meowscarada.
Yep.
U-turn. Yes, dude.
Is it U-turn? He's going to click U-turn here. Just go Aloe.
Like,
He's going to click U-turn. He doesn't have Flower Trick.
oh my god, dude.
This is actually crazy conditioning.
To be fair, Chiyu also died from 43.
Yeah, literally
like, everything
dies. Right
dies. It's not even a prediction. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but basically just flip turning, keeping your regen guys healthy, and then eventually like situating an end game where Bandit and Meowscarada can just click Flower Trick 4 times and just win the game.
I know we're having a bit of fun watching this one, but it is very important that early game, getting the regen opportunities on your Hydrapple to like stave off that Chiyu, because otherwise that could have definitely been a massive threat, forcing KOs the entire game. Yeah. But hey, able to do it. And now we can look at this game, which is Agent Flame versus 3D.
This one's also funny.
Yeah. So what's the goal for this one? Because we didn't go over this one in a different video, so we can go a little bit more in depth. That's fine with me. What's the goal of this fatter team?
So in this situation, you'll see Hydrapple use a more offensive role of Regenerator. So it's just going to be able to come in, click Nasty Plot. Even if it takes like chip, it'll be then coming later, no problem. Click Nasty Plot and just get more damage off. So you're going to see a lot of that this game.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is going to be Terra Fire on the Hydrapple, which is important to wall the opposing Goldango, the Cinderace, as well as just not really weakening yourself to too many things outside of the Lando, which doesn't really want to switch in on Hydrapple too many times. And that being said, you also have a Gliscor, so Lando not exactly an offensive menace this game. Right, but what is the goal? We want to set hazards with Gliscor, we want to force progress with Hydrapple, maybe force some knockoffs with Weavile, remove some boots, get that Conkeldurr nice and chipped, and then what else? Valiant to force progress. I mean, Valiant doesn't really have great switch-ins because it never does, but here, Cinderace Goldango, I guess it's about as good as you can hope for. And what else here?
It could be a Zarude depending on Terra as well.
Yeah, we do see Terra poison Zarude from time to time against the Iron Valiant matchup. Definitely possible here. But yeah, so the goal is basically Hydrapple long-term pressure with Spike Stack. Maybe you don't even want a Spike Stack though, because Court Change, but
Court
we'll
Change.
see. Yeah, Terra Fire Hydrapple, and the opposing Zarude is Terra Ghost. Spooky. Alright, immediate Terra in front of the Cinderace makes a lot of sense. We see a turn 1 bulk up.
Yep.
Yo, if that got an all-out,
it
just freaking died. Okay.
Plus 1 high junk it, by the way, only doing 60%. It's fucking crazy.
Are you watching this like separately? I'm screen sharing to you so we can be synced. You're like commentating before it happens. Alright, we're very smart over here. Alright, so it gets the Toxic Orb and then a Toxic on Lando. Okay, so going more so for the Toxic plus Earthquake combination. I mean, when you see the Cinderace in prep, a lot of times that is going to dissuade like a Spike Stack style, just by nature of Court Change existing. And with the U-turn Toxic, I highly doubt the last ones are going to be Spikes. Ah, nice, dude.
Oh, and the freeze, and just hacks.
Nice. Yep.
Yep, just hacks. Yep. No shame.
Not at all. Alright, Glimmora comes in. And what is Glimmora going to do? Meteor Beam, okay.
Meteor Beam, actually. Ooh.
Nice, dude. Literally just hacks.
Why hacks? Why hacks? Why?
Yeah, kind of ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, these guys are so lucky.
Yeah. And then takes advantage by Earthquaking in a Gliscor. Like, come on. And then doubles to Hydrapple, gets that sweet regen. Latios, this is not forcing me out. What? Now, Zarude comes in on the Nasty Plot turn. Like, okay, with Light Screen up. And the Encore comes out.
Encore is Zarude.
Very epic. Now, Gliscor comes in, but Goldango on the switch. Maybe not what 3D was expecting there. Probably expected, like, the Glimmora to try to pivot in on a knockoff, because it is itemless. Now the second screen goes up, and a double back to Gliscor. Draco doing a lot, but not quite enough to 2-hit KO this Gliscor. Maybe it had Ice Beam, but Draco Ice Beam dual screen, not exactly a likely set here.
Probably Healing Wish.
Yeah, definitely Healing Wish. Now we do see the rock go up. Is it Toxic Debris? It should be. Yep, so T-Spikes and rocks do go up, which is going to be pretty annoying for this Sarud. Yeah. And now Val comes in, gets the speed booster, trades some HP. We see a U-turn clicked, so maintains the sack fodder. Goldango comes in.
But like, that's all he needs, because Lando was like the only one like EQ and Hydrapple.
Yeah.
So, and that's dead to rocks now.
Yeah. If it's not dead to rocks, it's dead to rocks plus poison, so.
Yeah. That was a good trade.
A Fickle into Latios, and you're not really forced out here. Goes for the nasty plot, predicting the screen. And now what? Draco comes out. Do we recover on this? We do. So Agent Flame just in his head. And gets that Fickle Beam KO with a fresh Reflect in the air. But Conkeldurr comes in and is slower. Oh my god. Yeah, is there anything that he can do against this Hydrapple now? With a light screen, he is able to get +2 on his Goldango, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
Hydrapple...
Oh my god. Goes for the cover, scouting the switch out, but now Agent Flame not going to do anything. Okay, Lando does live rocks, but Gliscor comes in for free on that. Now with Sarud taking these hazards, should be done. There's actually boots. But this Gliscor has Toxic, hits the Toxic, and that's going to be the game because Iron Valiant...
Is it jungle healing?
Presumably not, because he forfeits, right?
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I mean, jungle healing Encore Sword Stance does not exist, first off.
Yeah, that's not a real set.
And, yeah, Valiant would have been enough to finish this one off. I mean, you go Valiant, you force the Terra Ghost, and then Weavile comes in with Foul Play afterwards, maybe?
Yeah,
could be
exactly.
Something. Anyways, I mean, you saw there, right? Gliscor comes in on the Lando. Hydrapple kind of blanket checks pretty much everything else. The only like exception to that rule was the Encore Zarud, which was a nice bring, but obviously not quite enough to outlast. Right. Now another game.
Oh, this was a funny game.
Yeah, it was. So this game, right? We just went over this one on the Aloe video as well, so probably going to breeze a little bit past this one, but we can go a little bit more in depth in the team building process. Like, how are you building with these fat teams? Like, we up against a Frostmoth, which, I mean, earlier in the season, Frostmoth was threatening a sweep versus this team in the game versus Lax. So how are we going to deal with the Frostmoth this time?
We have a choice band. No, it's not choice band. It's choice scarf treads. So the idea here was that we just go Aloe, we can play flip turn, and then the treads will be able to outspeed it, even as like at +1 or even like +2. I'm pretty sure we still outspeed even, so there's some leeway there. And it also just outspeeds basically our entire team. We outspeed Moth, we outspeed Moon. Zapdos we don't really care about. Sinistra we also punish if it's Terra CR Poisoned, which is like the only real type you can bring into Petriment, so take advantage of that. So we're able to not lose to Frostmoth. Iron Moth, we have answers like Aloe. They travel as Dragon Tail, and if it's like a Terra Fairy to be immune to Dragon Tail, we have the talk on the Petriment. Meowscarada, what was Meowscarada again?
I believe it was choice specs here.
Oh yeah, it was Specs Meowscarada.
Because you're facing against Fortress plus Zapdos, so just run Specs Power Gem. Like, the rock resists on this team are not that much, and something like Roaring Moon, which would be able to take a Power Gem, I mean, U-turn, even uninvested, is doing so much damage to that thing. You can't really switch that in.
Yeah, oh, and it's Trick Specs. So the reason why we were choice Specs over just being like special is because if there's like a Bold Dance Sinistra with like Iron Defense, Calm Mind, we want to be able to like not just like auto lose to that. So the idea here is that if it is like something like that, or this Nisha just gets out of hand, I can just trick it a Specs and be able to mirror code it, or lock it into like Matcha Gotcha. In that case,
Petrant Walls,
Petrant will be able to be
Mandibuzz.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, another progress maker for this team is going to be Nasty Plot Hydrapple, right? With Terra Electric, able to set up on quite a few things here: the Fortress, the Zapdos. as well as like a decent defensive neutral typing versus the rest of the team as well. You're not really weakening yourself to anything that was brought to this game, which is like always going to be a great thing for your Terra guy. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this one.
And just being electric, we can switch into Zapdos very well, which team does not currently if we were not electric. So
Yeah.
this year we get Terra Electric turn off turn 1, and Veil's Charge, which we actually saw in Mox.
Yep, just like the Mox, as they say.
Yeah,
Zapdos
just like the Mox.
Trying to set up alongside so he doesn't have to, you know, sack. And you can PP stall Fickle Beam, because this is pressure Zapdos, but...
Dragon Tail. But it's Dragon Tail.
Yep.
And now there's a +6 Hydrapple on the field.
Yeah, at full HP as well. And Zapdos is dead. Nice.
Yeah, good night.
All out +6, that killed like 7 Zapdoses. Alright, brings the 40 to Sturdy, but Pain Split. Alright, gonna bring this Hydrapple.
Like, at this point, you've sacked 2
low.
Pokemon. You sacked your only Hazard Setter. Like, you're only on like the back foot.
20,
like,
by the
pretty
way.
bad at this point. Yeah.
Did we forget to put EVs on our Iron Moth? Like... 20 is crazy. You know, just a slow flip turn, right? And go Petra Run, force the Terra.
Here.
And parting shot means we can go into Mana Buzz, take literally nothing, 7%, nice.
Yeah, I believe this is Whirlwind as well. Well, they get Lucky Burn here, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now into Frostmoth, but...
Frostmoth. Bit unfortunate, actually, because this one's a bit more difficult to switch into, but...
Yeah, this guy's stupid.
On this.
This guy's stupid in U-turns for no reason. Guy's literally addicted to switch moves. So now the Mana Buzz is low unnecessarily, which could be annoying for the Sinistcha.
Yeah.
Alright, but Scarf Treads forces that out into Roaring Moon, and yeah, Hydrapple able to come in on this no problem. Something like an Earthquake would be able to knock you out, right? But, I mean, is there a huge reason to beat Earthquake in this matchup? Maybe for Iron Treads? But regardless, he doesn't have it.
It was a roll, I think. It was a roll.
No way,
It was like
right?
an unlucky roll. I'm pretty sure it was a roll.
Knocked it 30 with Stab. And you were at like, what, 40? Yeah, you were at 47.
What was that?
So yeah, it looks like it might be a roll.
Yeah, that was a
actually.
roll, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a roll.
Either way, either doesn't have it or not willing to click it there. Anyways, Earthquake comes out.
So I think that was a roll.
That was a roll for
Couch
sure.
Flip turn, it was not max defense on Sinistcha.
Yeah. I mean, we see it do more later in the game as well, so we know that was a roll.
Yeah.
But now with the -1 flip turns, it's no longer a roll.
Yeah.
You scout like the
I just try to scout
switch.
if you want to respect the trick,
Yeah.
but no such luck.
But Aloe able to take this anyways. You're threatening a Mirror Coat here, so he wants to Strength Slap again.
Yeah, makes sense.
The timer's getting really low for both of you, but gets the trick correctly, and the Meowscarada is dead.
Good night.
+1 specs, shout out. And now just a parting shot decreases that special
Yeah,
attack.
I expected him to
boost.
switch. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He's logged into Matcha Gotcha against the Petron. I expect him to switch.
Yo, get your burn. Either way, it's all good because Earthquake
Yeah,
is
Scarf
a very
Treads,
forcing
there's no
line.
switching anymore.
Yep, and now the only thing that can really stop this Scarf Treads is like a Scarf Moth, which you're going to scout very diligently by going Aloe, take 9%.
You know it makes no sense to my team. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just in case, right?
You know, just in case we'll go Petron, even though it's probably a roll on treads.
Yeah. But now, because your Aloe is not -1 anymore, this flip turn is doing significantly more, and now Earthquake is going to be a KO. But of course not. We just volt switch this guy, dude.
Why did I volt switch?
I swear to God. You can never be too safe, right?
Okay, now it's in range, surely.
Yeah. Now it's like double in range. Goes Petch. I mean, if you lose Petch right here, it doesn't even matter. Like, you don't need it to win. Dude, so lucky.
Yep, Ninja Sacks. This guy is so lucky.
But yeah, so basically this whole game, not a whole lot of progress being made by Sean, and that's mainly because of that opening being so dominant from the Hydra Apple.
Yeah.
But
No
yeah,
hazards, no Zapdos. Yeah.
like Iron Moth, you know, legends say it has 140 base special attack and it's a strong Pokemon, but you wouldn't be able to tell looking at this. Like +1 stab Sludge Wave doing 31% to Aloe, bro. Get a job. Like, and that's gonna be the game. Like very slow, very methodical game from you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one more game to go over. This is also you, alongside
this
what
is a
Jay,
ghosting
Ricky, Addison, and
Addison and Mounte.
That's a pretty strong combination.
Yeah. So basically, all us Wi-Fi players, we want to team up. We decided to initially we wanted to grab like a Terra Great Tusk team, but then like somehow like the fucking Torn made it back to us. They're like, okay, let's just draft Stall. Wait.
Nice, dude.
So we drafted Terra
So
Torn,
lucky.
pivoted to fucking Terra Torn, Aloe, Petron, of course, you know, that's a classic. Ogerpon, Tinkaton. I think on our bench is Hydreigon, the Jumpluff, which we did actually bring once. So
yeah, Jumpluff is cool. Shout out to A12.
yeah, shout out to A12.
All right, so
so we see the matchup here. Basically the goal of this team. So we see Terra Zerud, like notoriously into like Aloe builds is particularly really tough.
Yeah,
because you have to not only do you have to count for like all like the possible Terra type combinations, you have to also it gives this SD Trailblaze like very easily and roll for your team. So, but there is a convenient Terra type that is good for Zerud, and that is going to be Terra Stellar, which we see here. So we have Terra Stellar on Torn.
Nice.
Yeah, we're Terra Stellar choice specs. So the idea here was that we can just flip turn off into our Torn and click a Terra Blast into the Zerud.
Yeah, makes sense.
And,
covers everything.
Yeah, basically. And even if they do want to switch into Rotom, it's still like a neutral hit at the worst. So if rocks are up, it's taking Terra Blast, taking U-turn, then it's still okay position. So yeah, it's gonna be a plan. And then the other guys here are just, meant to try to slow down the game. We have a Balloon Tinkaton because Skill Shot Chomp is pretty scary to us. So want to slow that down. We did see Agility, Enam, and Mox, like a Agility Calm Mindset. Sometimes they even like run like Terra Poison or Terra Steel. You see that being brought a lot into like these type of teams with like Petrunt, like trying to slow it down. So we decided to run like a curse set on this Petrunt. So it's gonna be Sugarberry Curse. And so basically what that allows us to do is that we're able to curse it down and just pivot into our Aloe, who could then like force Mirror Coats. So like even if you click Calm Mind, like you're still taking Curse Chip. And if you attack us, then you'll just die to Mirror Coat. So yeah, basically just slow down as much as we can and then let Torn and the Ogerpon get some good progress. And hazards this game is going to be limited to Ogerpon and the Tinkaton. But you won't see Tinkaton a lot, like trying to get out rocks. So mostly it's going to be spikes and Ogerpon, trying to shut down Metagross, and yeah. So it's going to be a game plan. So I think we can just watch the game here.
Alright, is Terra Fairy?
So we see Terra's here, Terra Fairy, and Terra
Ground
on
as well.
Yammerus. So that means it is toxicable, so we don't necessarily have to curse.
Yep.
And they do lead Sableye here, so it's just going to be screens probably. We saw a lot of mocks. Yep, double screens, fries in the bag.
Kids out here doing mocks for the ghosting tour. This is why my team had no chance.
Oh yeah, dude, your team is awful.
Dude, every single game was, guys, they want to send the challenge. Can we build a paste?
Yeah.
Just say you're in traffic, bro. Just say you're in traffic. This guy literally just lies.
You're Meteor Beam Metagross. But we're AV Aloe, so even if it's like Meteor Beam, we still just take it, flip turn, get back to full basically. We do have Burp Break on this, so we are forced to break Balloon here, but we do have a Burp Break, so...
Alright, the brick has been broken.
And the rocks going up here. Here, we pivot into Aloe on predicting its Psychic Noise over Psychic. Because Psychic would kill us, but Psychic Noise would not kill Tinkaton. And swapping into Aloe there was like the only way we can ensure we don't sack something. So we just gambled, and they make a horrible play here. And Meteor Beam for no reason. And lose the Metagross.
Yeah. Alright,
We're actually
Sableye.
lumbering on this, so we just stay in and just
Okay,
head
fair
long.
enough, yeah.
But headlong into recover won't kill, so we'll just switch here.
And our Petron is burned. GG. Just pack it up.
Yep, prize in a bag. But there's no Metagross, so Toxic is free now.
Yeah. And you Toxic again here, surely, right?
No, we predicted as a
No?
Roost
Your
switching in.
ass? I mean, it's probably jungle healing.
Dude. Wait, it's jungle healing.
It probably is, but he's confused, right? So.
Yeah, and they SD here, so that means we can encore it.
Yep. I mean, this is going
Yeah,
back
free
to the
encore,
fundamentals
this is a free
of the
spike.
fat teams, right? The flip turn into encore being so powerful, so hard to stop. And that allows you to get up with a free spike. It's like so impactful.
Yeah, and they have no removal either.
And we're letting more of our team get burned for no reason. Nice dude.
GG.
Wish in the air? Okay. That wasn't even AV.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, did I just lie? My bad. Oh no, we're boots. My bad.
I get it. It can happen. Alright, Agility Enam, Double Dance. Trying to break through this.
Oh good. We can just toss it.
Yeah,
no
literally
problem.
Petrant can cover this, no problem.
Yeah.
And
we just curse here just because it's funny.
Yeah, you need Moonblast plus Earth Power, so there's no rest or anything. Yeah, curses just for fun.
Here, Jay Ricky's gonna make a choke. He's gonna like Tinkaton for no reason. We could have just gone Aloe.
Wow, this guy sucks. John W. sacked
yeah,
by
he fucking
WinCon.
sabotaged us.
Okay.
Yeah, not because of that crit. We're forced to burn our sturdy now.
Okay, dude.
So shout outs to Jay Ricky.
Spike up. Yup. Free spike.
Yeah, of course. What else will they
Of course, of course. Alright, Zaru dash Dada. But go
We just
Torren.
pivot to Torren here.
Yeah.
We're expecting a switch here, so we U-turn, but they just stayed in. So, you know, we're bad.
I mean, it doesn't matter either way. You force the Terra, now Terra Blast.
Yeah,
It's gonna just be very threatening.
Are we gonna sack Tinkaton here? Nope.
So not even pickpocketing
yeah.
the lefties. This guy, dude.
No, dude, we need Moldbreaker, dude.
For what? What for?
No, it was for something, dude. I swear.
Do you promise? Right.
No, it's literally for something. It's literally for something.
we? That's so lucky, dude.
Oh, I got it, dude. It was for alchemy.
Okay,
dude, it's the Encore alchemy. I got it.
Wow. Awesome, dude. See.
Oh, they're gonna make a funny play here. They're gonna click SD.
Yeah, but you're just sacking to prevent the scale. Oh,
no,
free
they're gonna
rocks.
click soft rocks.
Free rocks, though. No, I get it. I actually get it.
Yeah,
so
rocks
much.
are gonna do like, they're gonna do 50% to Torren now.
Yep.
And I just lied. Nice.
Wow.
And if it's Trailblazing can't kill us here, and we have Heavy Slam on this, with a Power Whip, unlucky.
That is gonna knock you out. Ogermon's dead to rocks as well, so.
Yeah, yeah. But this is into Terra Blast, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, J Ricky almost.
Yo, imagine a
outdodged us.
synthesis there.
Oh yeah,
it didn't have it, but like.
Synthesis. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have jungle healing. You could have toxiced it earlier. You suck.
Yeah, literally, literally could just toxic.
All right, well, that's all the replays we had. I mean, part of that was just watching for fun, low key, like very enjoyable. But I mean, hopefully you guys watching at home can see like the power of these fat teams, able to slow down the pace of the game. Here, like obviously some misplays. Shout out J Ricky, but
yeah, thanks, J
at
Ricky.
the end of the day, the Torren with the Terra Stellar was able to force its way through the Rotom, through the Terra Zarude, and that's going to be the game. Hope you guys learned something. If not, hope you were entertained at least. But that's going to be it for me.
I think they're definitely entertained by King L5 versus Blitz, for sure.
Hey, buddy. I could pull up some replays. You want to pull up some replays from the maybe semifinals versus
Agent Flame?
well, we could gloss over that one per chance. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, be sure to check out who he's going to be linked both in the title and the description or whatever. Just go ahead and check him out. Drop a sub. He makes good content for the Wi-Fi side of things. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching. Do you have
Yeah,
anything
thanks
you want to
for having
say?
me on. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was really fun going over these replays and what just makes these teams viable despite being such like an offensive meta, and definitely interested to see like how the meta game continues to shift forward. If like maybe if like screens get banned, you know, maybe we'll see like a full shift toward defense cores like these will actually like be pretty well seen. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
I know there are already discussions on the ban on sleep, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to
I
see
don't
for
think those
sure.
are gonna go through, but
I don't
there
think
have
sleep's
been
gonna go over either.
discussions. I mean,
Yeah,
people are
unlike play, yeah,
talking.
I know that
They
for
just
sure.
talk in here.
I mean, those are just my ults. Let's just be honest. Like,
Yeah. The echo chamber of who alts. Now you really don't know who it is. Haha.
I get it.
Do you? Okay, that's it for me. Peace. See you in the next one.